My name is Adam, and today we have Katy Carroll.
Hi.
Katy Carroll and I are BFF because she is partial owner of Petitfour and Purls, my home base, and I love her very much.
And I give him free patterns.
She gives me free patterns, which is what we're going to talk about today.
Yeah, yay.
We're going to talk a lot about patterns, but before we do that, we're going to talk about what's going on in the world today in all Fiberarts. And November is kind of a slow-ish month. So we have Tinsel teas at Petitfour and Purl. All of the Saturdays and Thursdays are booked.
Saturdays and Thursdays are booked, and we're actually having people call and book for next year, for December 2026. You can do that for Witch's Tea or Tinsel Tea next year. Seriously, call us. We'll put you down. But I've had a chance to sample some
Okay, I was gonna say,
of the menu items. You probably have too.
Oh, do we have the whole menu up on the?
Yes, the whole menu is up on the website. It's on our social media. We're keeping some favorites, like the sticky toffee pudding has become kind of iconic, and it's so good.
It's so good.
Homemade caramel sauce, fresh whipped cream. That's delicious. And Nicole has done these small little sausage rolls wrapped in puff pastry, and they are the bomb.
I haven't seen those yet.
Oh, have you tried them?
No, I haven't seen them.
Really good.
I want to see them. And
yeah.
My favorite thing in the world is turkey cranberry sandwiches.
Okay.
Cadbury Oddies
Yep.
is my go-to.
Yeah.
So that's exciting. Oh, brie apple fig tartlets.
Brie apple fig tartlets. We do a brie apple fig sandwich, but we're translating it to a tartlet.
That sounds good.
So everything's going to be really good. We have times.
Sorry, that's noisy.
We have time slots still on some Tuesdays, some Wednesdays, and some Fridays. So just give us a call if you want to get in. We do ask for groups of 4 or larger, but we hope you'll come in and try it.
And then Auntie Linda, last month's guest, she is out teaching a weaving, like a tapestry weaving class with the Wasatch Woolpack. And to sign up with that, you're going to want to go to the show notes and send an email to Joe, who runs the Wasatch Woolpack Spinning Guild.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah. So,
nice.
And that's going to be at Joe's house, and she's very fun. She also does indigo workshops at her house. Oh, hello. Editing Adam here to let you know that I did miss some stuff when I was chatting with Katy. We do have at Petitfour and Purl a spin-in on Saturday. I'll be there with my wheel. Camara will be there with her wheel. Katy will be there with her wheel, maybe. And we will have drop spindles for sale, fiber for sale, and we want you to just come and hang out and learn from each other. And I'm happy to teach. And if you just want to see spinning happening in real time, come down on Saturday, the 22nd. That's this Saturday. Also, huge news, good news. Petitfour and Purl has rented out a theater at Fat Cats in Saratoga on December 2nd at 7 p.m. for a screening of Wicked for Good, which is so exciting. And I have that'll make three screenings that I'm already signed up for at this point. But we'll have lights so you can see while we're watching the movie. We're having a door prize, including a bag made by Callista, who's the only person who makes any of my knitting bags, and also some green yarn, and the bag is pink because we all know that pink goes well with green. So tickets will be available. Go to the Petitfour and Purl Instagram or website, and we'll link it down below. I think that's everything. I did record this with Katy about a week ago, so some of the timelines are a little different, but all the dates are correct. So I hope to see you at any of these events, and I hope you're having a good day. And back to those two. It's really not for us. So let's look at finished objects and works in progress.
Finished objects. Okay. Most recent finished object, I made a baby sweater for a shower on Saturday. Went over super well.
You did it so fast. She was so fast.
It was by Lisa Chemery, Chemery. She's one of my favorite makers of baby kid patterns on Ravelry. Her store name is Froganette with 2 G's. But check out her stuff. She's got really darling kid themes, variety of weights, and the patterns are really well written. So this one I made was called Alouetta, and can I pull up?
Yeah, no, pull the picture and just hold it up. That's totally fine.
Let me pull it up. Instagram.
Oh my gosh, so cute.
Okay, where can I just show?
Just go right there.
Whee! Can you see some of the detail? A little bit of patterning in the yoke, some cute buttons. I powered through that in a week, and maybe like
you powered through it.
I did power through it.
Powered.
Kind of hurt my. It just sounds funny because it was a baby sweater, but it has a flouncy skirt. So when you got to the skirt part, you almost doubled your amount of stitches, and that's why it took so much longer.
Flew off.
But it turned out really darling. The specific design is called Alouetta, and yeah, I really recommend her stuff. Then. Other thing I was dying. Oh, you go. Maybe take turns. Take turns. You go.
So I don't have any like knitting things done because I'm a slow knitter, but I did finish.
That's gorgeous. Nice.
I think the colors in that one.
Yeah,
you can't really see it. It's a pinky beigey. The cool thing about it is that it has flax throughout it. So it has some tooth to it. It was a braid by Witchfire Fibers. I don't remember the shade name, but I can put it in the show notes.
Yes, she's up in Idaho.
Yeah, she's the best. I mean, I bought like a Stephen West shawls quantity of yarn from her like in my first grade basin, and it was so beautiful, and her tones are so modern and chic, and
she's beautiful stuff.
They're beautiful. So I really loved the color of this. I wish the lights were It's great. Okay, your turn.
Okay.
Your turn.
This is ridiculous, but I love it so much.
Oh my gosh, here she comes.
There we go. You've seen this. You've all seen this. It's the emotional support chicken. I apologize. I can't remember the designer. It's all over Ravelry. Yeah, everyone's making them. Mine is named Dame Helen Muirhead. And I decided I wanted a big chunky chicken. So I used Malabrigo Chunky. Proper bulky. Weight, I think like a size 10 needle. It's so bad squishy. I also knit pretty tightly. So I used a 10 because I did want it firm. I don't want the stuffing showing through too much.
Yeah.
So I did give it kind of a steam block to relax the garter stitch before I stuffed it. It's pretty fun to knit. I stalled out a little bit on the seaming. The only part that was honestly like a little tricky was the tail feathers. It just doesn't line up really well, so you just kind of do the best you can and make it even. But I just have this on my dresser, and it makes me laugh every time I see it. So that's my big fat chicken.
It's really cute. I'm gonna go in with like fuzzy yarn, like
strand of mohair or something.
No, I would do like Surrey or even like all the yarn.
That could be fun.
The savory.
Yeah. So this is honestly a fun knit. Like try it out. It's fun.
I love it.
Yeah. Hey, do you have anything else?
I have one more. Yeah. So I got something off my loom.
So cool.
This big scarf I decided to make out of my hand spun. A lot of it is hand spun. A lot of it is actually, you know what? This is the bat from Salida. When we went to Salida. Wow, look at that. That is so fun that you are here when I'm done with this.
Yeah.
What was her name?
Vortex yarns. And we met her at the Salida
Fiberarts.
California, or Colorado Fiber Fair. We really enjoyed talking to her. We liked her yarns and her fibers, and she had these fun, sparkly, colorful art bats.
Beautiful.
I'm talking like I know what I'm talking about.
You do know what you're talking about. It's so funny.
Theoretical knowledge, I don't have practical.
You will.
I know. So that's fun because I saw Adam crack open the package and start spinning it. And
that's a thing.
Very fun.
So it also has some like more sari ribbon. This is hand spun. I took silk hankies.
Oh yeah, I know that.
This is hanky, and I didn't even spin it. It's unspun. I pulled it, kind of drafted it through each through my loom, and then did the other warp, and then back and forth. But yeah, it's a sexy, fun thing. It's gonna look great on top of my black winter coat. Was my plan.
So fun.
That's some fun. Dingle hoppers hanging from it. I think it's great.
See, like I'm too uptight. Like I don't do random well. And so I would struggle to make this, but I love that you can support this.
Scenery is chaos.
Yeah.
I love it.
Stunning. Awesome. Okay, my turn?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I don't design sweaters, but I love to knit sweaters. And I finished this one. It is a wool alpaca blend that I got on my first trip to Rhinebeck in 2024. First and only trip to Rhinebeck. It's Good Karma Farm, I believe, is the vendor. I think they're in Maine, but it's like heavy worsted wool alpaca blend. I was really worried that it would be too warm, but the pattern has a nice open neckline, and I don't overheat, so it's kind of a loose sweatshirty kind of fit. But it's really fun.
It even has that like rolled. I love the rolled.
Yeah, like.
I think that's a hot
thing,
isn't
right?
it? The rolled hem.
Yeah, but it's not just rolled. Like it has a purl line here, and then you knit 6 rows, and then it rolls in, right? So it's not like without structure. Yeah, it's fun little faux cable crossover kind of thingy. And just a fun wear. So I'm glad that the yarn didn't go get buried in the stash.
Right.
Not that I have a stash.
It's floated on top. Oh, Katie's got a stash like nobody's business. It's called a store.
So anyways, this is really fun. The pattern is Brassica, Brassica. It's by Elizabeth Smith Knits.
Ocean.
She has some really fun stuff. Lots of really like clean lines, minimalistic, but with cool details. So Elizabeth Smith Knits. Look for us. Yeah.
They never do, folks.
Adam has thoughts.
They never do. They never do, honey. Okay.
So that's really what I have for FOs.
Okay. Let's do whips. I don't have two.
Yeah.
I have the sweater. It's still going, folks.
Yeah.
It's getting close to.
Nice. Oh, texture.
Texture.
Love it.
The length is getting there.
Nice.
I'm gonna crack into it a lot in the next couple days.
Adam is having an Alicia Plummer moment.
I love Alicia Plummer. Do you know why, folks?
Menswear.
Yeah.
She makes well-fitting menswear.
She sees. Okay. It's crazy.
Oh.
I actually found somebody last night who also had some really good ones.
Mm-hmm.
I'll have to.
Yeah. And that's actually a thing, like later when I talk about indie design is something I want to talk about is how when you find someone who works for you, you like their pattern writing, patterns are clear, they make sense, you like their sizing, you like their fit, like, stick with them.
And you like the yarn sleeves.
You like the yarn sleeves?
Right? Like,
Yeah, or their yarns are,
Available.
accessible, available, and not too like obscure or just
Financially.
hard to match or like financially inaccessible. That's kind of one of the joys of Ravelry when you find a designer who works for you, like
Yeah.
stick with them. You don't have to, of course, you can try somebody new every time.
The other thing that like I do is I also follow people who look like me.
Yes.
So
Similar body type.
I have the body type. They also have the similar vibe to me. And like then I go into their Ravelry and I sleuth and I steal all of the things that they have liked or favorited or they have in their queue.
Projects. Yeah.
And I just go in there and then that'll lead to another thing and that'll lead to another thing and that'll lead to another thing and then the next thing I know I've got an Alicia Plummer sweater.
There you go. One reason why that's actually smart, I mean, this is my own pet theory. I think a lot of times indie designers often kind of tend to maybe design for their body type. For example, if a designer is very tall, thin, maybe thin arms, their arms and their patterns might be a little snug for me because I have like bulky girl arms.
I have Tim Burton and claymation arms.
Claymation arms, right?
Yeah.
And that's like not a bad thing. That just kind of happens, right? So if you find designers, you find knitters who are making things that look good on a body like yours, go for it, right?
Yeah, and then if you do find something, right, that you like, but their arms are always bigger, then you've knit something, and you can adjust accordingly with the other patterns that you like.
Yeah,
right?
And I think that's where it gets really kind of incumbent, big word, on you as the knitter to know your body and know what your fit preferences are, what kind of ease you like, and just tweak where necessary.
That's such a hard question. The ease,
Yeah.
because it's like you have to consider the weight of the garment, the fit of the garment, shape of the garment. And then how do you feel about it being 2 inches bigger or 4 inches smaller? Or like it's very difficult to me.
And fiber of the garment too, because the alpaca blend sweater that I showed, after washing, it turned out a little bigger than I maybe would have wanted, and that's why I call it like a sweatshirt fit. Still comfortable, still like it, but alpaca grows more than wool, so that just kind of happens. And when I need to, I'll block it again and it might pull in and then kind of gradually relax over time. But
throw it in the dryer.
No. Yeah, that's all you can ask for.
Okay, so I have one more work in progress, but it leads beautifully into what we've already started talking about. Mother, Mom, if you're watching this, I need you to skip ahead.
Nancy, don't
go away because this is your Christmas present, and I'll be really heartbroken if you see this.
That makes me so happy.
So, this is, I mean, I don't have that much done, but
so pretty.
Isn't it great? Yeah. This is the Lucien. This is a hybrid between the scarf and the wrap.
Lucien. It's one of mine.
It's one of Katy's. It's probably the most like things in like per capita that I've ever done where there's cables and lace and drop stitches involved. So it's gonna be gorgeous. So this one we're gonna drop down this whole stitch, right, Katy?
Yeah, so there's these motifs, and in between is just a 1-stitch purl column. And then at the very end, as you're binding off, you're going to drop down each of those purl stitches, and then the motifs to kind of set off on their own with the drop stitch in between.
And it looks like leaves. It's so pretty.
Yeah, my friend Lisa calls that the droppy drop, and it had like a moment here in Utah.
I think we need more droppy drops.
The droppy drop. Yeah.
And I'm using...
So when he does that, it's actually going to grow by several inches. It's going to widen it.
And I'm making it out of Allegoria, which is Master Way. It's fingering. It seems like a perfectly okay yarn to use for this project.
It's a great yarn. I like that.
And I got some when it was on sale, so I'm excited about it. And I love Katy's patterns.
Oh, you're nice.
I love them. I can bother her at, sometimes I've done it very late at night. I have texted her being like, oh, she won't text me back. She'll give it to me in the morning and she'll bing. And you're like, your Ravelry is, here's a message from Katy Carroll. So it's amazing to have, here's the best hack of all of this. Get a designer in your life so you can get some free patterns from, okay, honey? I've done a bunch of your stuff.
Thank you.
We can get to that.
Oh, do you want to talk about that?
Yeah, let's talk about. So, like, this is a good example of the drop stitch. Do Katy show and tell.
Oh.
But this is probably one of the other things I love.
This is another droppy drop.
Most of all the things I've knitted, cables and drop stitches.
Yeah.
It's the
Sunnydale.
Sunnydale.
And this is a fun one because it is meant to be used with the craziest, colorful, variegated skein of yarn you have.
It's so good on it too.
And it's amazing. Yeah. Love it.
Love
and
that one.
The funniest thing was when we were in Colorado at that show, they had a contest, a competition. People had entered things that they made.
Yes.
And someone had entered one of those.
It was really cool.
And I asked permission, like, can I write a note on their little entry card? I don't think I was a weirdo, but just to see that in the wild in a different state was really fun and gratifying for me.
It was fun because we like literally had been there like 3 minutes.
Yeah,
we like look up and it's like hanging up.
So I just wrote a note and said like, "Hey, it was a treat to find this. You know, beautiful knitting, good job, yay, Katy." So
this is funny because I brought mine out and you also have yours.
Okay, Adam says I don't design for men, which is true, but I make one unisex design.
Damn.
And this is actually maybe over here. Like I put it right over here, maybe, or I don't know.
Oh, you do. It's because I'm right in front of it.
Yeah. This was one of the ones I did with Malabrigo for the quickies. It's called the Carrasco Cowl and Knits. And it too is designed for a variegated yarn. And what makes it work with a variegated yarn is you have a combo of knits and purls and slip stitches. And that makes you use your yarn in varying degrees. That's what breaks up pooling.
Yes.
Is when you are using your yarn in different amounts.
Yeah.
Right? So that
is that what also sets this one off?
It is absolutely what sets that apart because the Sunnydale Cowl has these elongated stitches which are wrapped 3 times around the needle. So you get the blips of color there. You have the horizontal blips of color and the drop stitches.
Drop it.
And then when you have the rows where you're slipping the elongated stitches, your stitch count is brought down drastically. So again, you're using the yarn at a different rate, and that shakes up the color.
Yeah.
So
then you don't get just the big, because this could have been like one of those, which I don't hate when people do the planned pool and it like does like a swath, like a cross. But like this is a real treat.
Yeah, it
goes all the way through.
Distributes it really well. So anyways.
This one's the one that's been in the dryer. It's a little felted too.
Oh, that's actually, it looks really nice though. I was worried when you told me that.
No. It's just because mine was, she was loose. This yarn was kind of sassy.
So yeah, this is a Malabrigo Arroyo. It's a sport weight base, but yeah.
So how do you start doing all of this, Katy?
How did I start?
How did we get here? Take us through.
So I will. It's like not the happiest story.
Right.
Like I've told you, right?
Brief-ish.
Yeah.
Whatever you're telling.
Yeah, I can say. So I actually met my first knitting friend. I was a newish knitter, a handful of years, and I met my first knitting friend on Ravelry.
Right.
And her name was Jill, and we were both in a Utah Knitters forum. And she like vaguely mentioned where she lived, and I thought that's vaguely near where I live. Actually, she lives down the street from him. But he was really close by. And it's kind of like dating. We had our first meetup, and we went to our local fiber fair. It was the Great Basin when it was outdoors back in the day at Wheeler Farm. And Jill and I went there, and like from then on, we're pretty inseparable. Got together a couple times a month. We like to have like a cafe or a bakery associated with every knit shop in Salt Lake. And yeah, so she was, and we were really involved in the knitting guild. She was president one year. I did the newsletter, and she was my Stitches West buddy. We'd go to Stitches West together.
I wanna go. Take me back.
The funny thing was, she really liked like icy pastels, which like for me.
Yeah, no.
And so like she'd hand me the scummy greens and be like, this is disgusting. Take it. It's yours. You know, and I'd like lavender. Take it. So anyways, we had a lot of fun doing that. And one time we went to Stitches West, I was like 6 months pregnant. And we were joking, like, we go to one of the popular booths and, okay, like, all feign labor. Like, people get mine. Right. So, anyways, yeah. So I had this friend, Jo, and she passed away unexpectedly in 2014. Completely unexpected. She had some health issues, but yeah, it was really hard.
Yeah.
And I will say that my knitting friends from the guild and elsewhere in the shop were there for me more than anybody else, you know.
It's true.
And I won't forget that. But it really kind of made me think about how life can change. And like I was just kind of scared to do new things, put myself out there to try something new. And I just felt like I really need to challenge myself. I really need to do a thing. And at the time I was doing a lot of test knitting for people.
Right.
Which was actually...
It's the natural step, right?
Yes.
Right. You knitter, test knitter.
Yeah.
And then you edge into...
Well, actually, I did knitting. I did test knitting. I did teaching. And then I did designing.
Okay.
So the test knitting was really good to learn how a design happens from the ground up. And it was kind of eye-opening because you get the first draft of the pattern.
And you're like, whoa.
This is a mess.
It's my worst nightmare, folks. Worst nightmare.
But it was really good to see that process from the ground up. I really enjoyed that.
Yeah.
And then Verla at Unraveled Sheep, the shop isn't there in Sandy anymore, but that was my first knitting home. Asked if I would start teaching, and I wasn't quite ready to do that yet, but my youngest was in kindergarten, and I had like this tiny brief
this
window
time, baby,
to like zip up to Salt Lake and teach and then come back and get him. But I started knitting, and as I was trying to find patterns or come up with things, I'm pretty much self-taught. So I thought, how would I want to learn this? How would I want to have this information given to me, right? Yeah. And so I kind of began from that viewpoint. And honestly, too, this is kind of funny, but my degree from back in the day was in public relations and communications, right?
Right.
So how can I convey a message in the clearest language that will make the most sense
to the most people,
to the greatest amount of people, right? So, like, I'm using my degree.
Good job, Katy.
Yeah.
It was all worth it.
So I did my first pattern, and actually...
Did you bring it?
I did.
I was literally sitting here like, oh my god, I hope she has it.
This wasn't the original sample, but it's the original pattern.
Oh my goodness.
I had put like a teaching pattern up on Ravelry, but this was my first published pattern. It's called the Interwoven Mitts. There we go. And I did a pattern, and I solicited test knitters on Ravelry, and I had my sister come over and take pictures. And like the pattern has been updated like 10 times since then because it was my first one and I was learning. But it was really well received, and I'm happy for that. And that kind of started things off, and that's how I met Marion of Marionated Yarns, who is my most frequent collaborator. Well, you need to meet Marion.
We talk about her a lot.
Yeah.
Oh, we do have, maybe next year we're gonna see. Marion
is the best and has been my collaborator and yarn supplier for the majority of my designs. But that is kind of how it started. And I learned a lot of things like in that first test knit, because I just kind of assumed that everybody knits like I do and processes information like I do. And I learned that some people legitimately prefer written instructions. For me, I like charts, but
I need it written one time.
Yeah.
So I understand it, and then I want a chart.
And then you want the chart. Some people like both.
Yeah, I
right?
like a
And
little bit of
there's
both.
not a right and wrong. I do think it's a good idea if you can kind of familiarize yourself with charts. But there were excellent knitters who because I didn't include written the first time, they're like, "Where's the written?" And I was like, "Why do you want written?"
What? Who does that?
So I learned, and in every pattern since then, I include written and charted instructions to cover my bases. So
Sorry, I'm just looking at your Ravelry.
yeah, I have 87 designs.
That's what I was. Yes.
Yeah, and I'd really like to get that up to 100. So
Boop, boop. And you have
work on that.
like most of the alphabet covered. That's the other.
I have,
did I just blow your cover?
No, that's okay. I need X names. I have patterns that use every letter of the alphabet except X.
Okay,
Where are we
put
at?
your
Xander,
X,
Xavier,
put your
Xena,
X names in
Ximena? I
the
don't know.
comments.
I need an X name that doesn't seem like pretentious or forced.
Or like yes, that's.
So that's kind of where it's been. So that first pattern was released in January of 2015. And so it's been like almost 10 years.
It's amazing.
So it's been a fun thing.
You've done so many.
Thank you. So
keep
the big dream, and maybe I'll say it here so I actually end up doing it.
Girl, what do you got?
I really love to do a book, like self-publish a pattern book. So
all the beautiful photography,
yeah,
the big beautiful colored printouts, and all the.
nice.
It's so.
Yeah,
it's a dream.
And if you've seen my patterns or my stuff on Ravelry, my daughter Abby has been my photographer for a long time.
And they're all really good pictures, except for the ones with their X in them.
Yeah.
So it's November.
Yeah.
And something happens.
Yeah.
You were telling me something happens in November with you indie designers.
I am really excited to talk about this. So, I was just telling Adam because he's a baby.
I am a baby knitter.
He's a youngster. No, I'm just old. I'm a lot older than him. So I started knitting in the days before Ravelry. And at the time,
I cannot imagine.
At the time, I mean, I can recall, like, I can count on one hand the number of blogs that were selling PDF patterns on their blog. It just wasn't a thing. I can think of, like, Wendy Bernard of Knit and Tonic was one, and Bon Marie Burns of Chic Knits was one. And, like, that was kind of it, right?
Wild.
And so what would happen is people had individual blogs. They weren't really connected, though. And so when a new magazine issue would come out, you'd like cycle through all your favorite blogs to see who was making and talking about the new magazine.
Okay.
Right?
So it's social media, but before social media.
Yeah. And so there was a couple on the East Coast, Jess and Cassidy.
Okay.
Jess was the knitter.
Okay.
And was telling Cassidy, her spouse, about what a pain it was to try to find information on new patterns. Like you just had to search and search and search and look and find, and you wanted feedback. Like, is this a good design? Is it worth making? Is it a pain? Is it poorly written? Are there mistakes? Right. So Cassidy was a programmer, and like hence Ravelry was born. So they reached out to their friends first to kind of beta test it.
Yeah.
And then they had like staggered applications, like you put in your name, and you'd wait and get your Ravelry invite, and then you could join Ravelry. What happened though is Ravelry, in addition to having like the pattern database, the individual project capabilities for knitters, it also like it kind of eliminated the gatekeepers of like editors and publishers and who was choosing what design was out there and what was like being sent to the masses, right?
Yeah.
So Ravelry like eliminated those gatekeepers and kind of opened up the field to worldwide talent of design, right?
Yeah.
And that's like mind-blowing. That changed the industry forever.
It is amazing. Yeah.
Yeah, and like
anyone can put a pattern up. If they try. What
a blessing. And like anyone can. So that's kind of the caveat is that there is both good and bad patterns in the free and in the paid patterns, right?
The free is
like
schedule.
There's no guarantees, but people can leave feedback on patterns. They can leave feedback on yarns. They can leave feedback in their own project posts. And put modifications or errors they found.
Oh, yeah.
And so that knowledge sharing just went boom, right? Because we're now able to communicate these things amongst ourselves rather than like hunting down obscure blogs.
Right.
And so
incredible.
Just changed the world.
It really did change the world.
Anyways.
Before Facebook.
The event I want to talk about is called the Indie Design Gift Along. And I believe that I participated in the inaugural year.
That's a hard word to say.
Which was 2016.
Okay.
So I think this is the 10th year. And there was one year I missed when I wasn't paying attention and I didn't sign up in time. Wow. But other than that, I think I've done this like 8 or 9 times. It was organized by some indie designers on Ravelry, and the purpose of it was to have a fun gift knitting experience leading up to Christmas, and to promote indie designers and to promote like awareness of what's out there, because there are like some very popular designers who are very talented and it's very well deserved. But there's a lot of stuff that flies under the radar.
The saturation makes things difficult.
Yeah, it makes it hard to find. And sometimes you come across someone and you're like, why have I never heard of you before?
Yes.
I love your stuff. I love your aesthetic. Like, why have you never come up on my screen?
It's
crazy
when that happens.
So I feel like this
I've been on here for years.
A lot of people a chance to have some exposure. And this event starts with a pattern sale. To be eligible to sign up, you have to have at least 20 self-published patterns. Okay. And the reason for that is kind of a screener. They want people who have kind of paid their dues a little bit.
Right.
They've learned.
So we're not just saturating it.
Built a catalog. So the idea is you have some experience under your belt, and so your patterns are going to be high quality.
Nice.
Right? So each of us have 20 patterns that we've chosen to put on sale.
Amazing.
And for about 6 days, all of us will use the same code. It will tell Adam, I'm pretty sure it's Gift Along 2025.
Put it in the show notes.
Look at that. And we're all using that. Every participating designer will have a marked bundle on their project page.
Okay.
Yeah, I have the date for when those will be visible.
Okay.
And a day or 2 after the bundles are made visible, then the sale starts. And you have about 6 days to buy patterns. However, one thing that's very nice about this event is it's very inclusive.
Okay.
In that you don't have to buy patterns to participate.
Okay.
You can use free indie design patterns. You can use patterns you already own.
Okay.
So you don't have to put out any money if you don't choose to.
Right.
Right.
But we're going to save some money if we want to.
But you can save some money. I often find that European knitters, for example, really love this because they are charged.
You've said this before, I remember.
Did I? Like that, they're charged VAT tax.
Yeah.
Right? They're charged extra for my patterns, which is a pain for them.
Yeah.
And this 25% off eliminates the VAT tax and maybe like a little bit more. So for European knitters,
they get it at like American price.
Yes, like that eliminates that for them. So
that's cool.
That's awesome. And then once the knitting starts, there are 8 different threads.
Okay.
For 8 different categories.
So we're going into what's it called?
Knitting
forums.
fancy. Yeah.
Going into the forums.
It's a Ravelry forum. You search up indie design gift along, and that's hyphenated gift -a-long. You'll find it there.
I'm so afraid of the forums.
You can sign up.
Maybe this year. I'm gonna try.
So I looked, and like the forum is quiet right now. They're gonna open it up shortly. But it has like 17,500 group members.
Wow.
So that are members of the knit along. Like probably not all are participating, but a lot are. And once the threads start, like I cannot keep up. They are fast.
That's the thing is
moving.
How do you keep track of?
It is kind of wild, but you have to announce in there what you're gonna make.
Right.
And then I get a notification when someone links my pattern.
Cool.
So I can see what people are making. I can see when someone's finished one of my things.
Cool.
So I can cheerlead. I can like chime in and comment. And
so you see at 2:00 in the morning when I'm saying things to on my Ravelry.
If you link my thing, yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, on your designer page, you have a user activity tab. So you can see people who are queuing or linking projects or have mentioned you in within a forum.
Wow.
So you
guys are like God watching over.
So as a designer, it's just super fun. I'm not a huge gift knitter myself, but some people are. They love it. They love
usually do
just
one or
trying
two.
it out. And each of these 8 categories, so there's like sweaters, heads, hands, baby, home. I can't remember what else there is, but there's 8 of them. They have their own mod squad.
Okay.
And there's games, there's trivia. Like one of my favorite ones that they do for like every single participating designer, they kind of do like guess who this is, and they'll give you clues as to who this designer is, and the first person to chime in and say
Like,
correctly who it is, they get a prize code, because all of the participating designers donate a number of prize codes to be given out as prizes during this process, so you can win free patterns. We also donate a lot of physical prizes. So at the very end, they have drawings, and every year, I go to the post office and send out 5-6 packages to people who've won.
Very cool.
It's kind of tricky this year with tariffs. We're trying to keep physical prizes in country.
Yeah.
So European designers will send to fellow Europeans, and but it's just a fun event, really fun. Right? And the first or second time that I did this, I actually used my earnings from it to buy my first like nice Canon camera. Amazing. So that we could take better pictures, right? And then that just kind of like boosted my abilities to make better patterns. Right. And like,
because it's all about photos.
Yeah. So give you some dates real quick.
Okay, dates.
This is what I have heard. Okay, so bundles, I think, are going to be revealed on Wednesday, the 19th. I have 9 p.m. Mountain Time. I'll double check all of these. And so unless you're like, you'd have to go to someone's page specifically to see that.
Okay. They'll announce it on social media too if it's someone.
Yeah,
they
do.
Like,
yeah. And
or at least they should.
I think I'll look up their Instagram. But you follow the Instagram account, you'll get the details.
Oh, okay.
The pattern sale goes from Thursday, the 20th, at 3 p.m. Mountain Time.
Ready, set, go.
To Wednesday, the 26th, at 10 p.m. Mountain Time.
Okay.
And that's the 25% off for the 20 patterns that each of us have chosen.
Amazing.
And then the gift along itself goes from that same start date as the sale. So Thursday the 20th at 3 p.m. to the very end of the year. So for us, it would be Wednesday, December 31st at 10 Mountain Time.
Amazing.
Yeah. And then after that is when they draw the physical prizes. And then this is kind of fun. So if you make something in each of the 8 categories, you are entered into the grand prize. Okay, and actually,
usually
you get one
a
free.
Car?
You get a car. Everybody gets a car. You get one pattern from each of the participating designers. So you could potentially get like 200 plus pattern codes for all these people. You gotta try everything. Right? And if you think about that, if these are sold at like $6-7 a pop, that's a pretty significant
a lot of money.
price, right? That's kind of fun.
You could knit 3 years off of that.
Yeah. no, honestly, that.
No, really.
And you can, give them, share them with friends, like whatever you choose to do. But it's just really fun. The mods put a lot of work into it to keep it well run and well organized. And, people who are just coming to knitting like might not know about this. So go to Ravelry, go to the forums, search up indie design.
I'm gonna do it. I've been so afraid of it, but
get into the forums.
It's so scary. I feel like it's just like I never feel like I'm in the right one. Yeah. Maybe I need to just find this will be my tiptoe to it. Because the other one that is like the fleece. What's the fleece? Oh, there are marine and what's that fleece thing? Tour de fleece. That's so intense. That's very intimidating as well. So but I think this one
this is very fast moving. They also made a thread like last year, which is like the slow lane for people who just can't keep up with and it's just more slow chatter and things. And it's just really, really well run. Like, check it out if you're into that kind of thing.
I love it.
Celebration of indie design.
Let's do it.
Yay.
Let's do it, folks.
Yeah. And again, you can use patterns that you already have. You can use free patterns, I think like they prefer that they're indie design, which means you're not getting it through a yarn company or it's not being sold or it wasn't like from a magazine. So ideally, like if they're from an indie designer, but
Heck yeah.
yay.
I'm into it.
Yeah.
I think that's
Do you want
everything I
talk
have. Do you have
about
some
my
fun?
stuff?
You got some fun stuff over here?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Tell me.
So when I was starting out in design,
Okay.
people gave me a lot of information, which helped me get better. And so I've kind of tried to pass it on, right? Because people helped me, and like I like giving that information.
Yeah.
You know, because
Pass it
like
along.
the indie world has just like changed so much, right? And I used to feel like I had like my finger on the pulse when I knew what was out there and who was designing, and it's all changed. Like I am so out of touch. I try to, but
well, you have a lot going on.
Can't keep up. Yeah. So, anyways, just if any of you are thinking about putting out a pattern, here's my advice for you.
Love this.
Number one is to I put down like temper your expectations.
Right.
But maybe like just consider what your expectations are.
Right.
Like you're not going to get rich. Ravelry actually published some stats one time, and like it's a pretty small group of people who are making what you would call like a living wage at designing. And I bet if you thought about it, you could name 5 of them right now, right?
Yeah,
that's amazing, and their success is totally well deserved.
Yeah.
You know, but when you get to that point, you have the expenses. You probably have staff. You probably have someone who answers all your help emails. You have someone maybe who does your social media posts, right? Like, so that's like the trade-off. But like, if you can do that, good for you.
Yeah. You have an editor.
Yeah, like
to have. Unless you're, you know.
Yeah.
Just a lot that goes into these things.
It's a lot. A lot of designers who make it their career, they have side hustles. They supplement by like teaching at fairs or festivals or traveling to teach for guilds or
YouTube.
Maybe YouTube, or maybe they do like editing on the side, right?
Yeah.
So that can be done, but there are usually some side gigs in there. And then I would just say too, what is your motivation?
Yeah,
like,
why are you
really like what are you trying to get out? If you're trying to get out like money,
if
like
you're trying
okay,
to bleed, don't do that.
That it's gonna be hard and it can be discouraging.
And we can smell it. You can smell it on people when they're doing something not because they love it, but because they're wanting a reaction. They want financial. Like it's gross.
I find like there's a tipping point where if I feel I've gotten too self-promotional, it just starts to feel gross. And
I've never thought that you get too promotional.
Well, that's because it feels gross. I stop. I pull it back, right? And that's the thing too, is that there is an element of it being kind of personality driven. And I don't want to feel if someone doesn't like my design, they don't like my personality.
Yes.
Right?
Well, you can get tied up in that.
You can get a little too tied up in that, and then
it's not good for your brain.
So for me, like I have found that if I focus on creative fulfillment, like everything else will follow.
Yeah.
Right. And I've been really pleased with that. And the funny thing is that every time I have tried to make something catch on or go viral, or I've made a big advertising push, like it never happens then. the viral moments happen when you least expect it, and then it's just like a lovely surprise when it does.
Yeah.
So that's my first thing. And then keep in mind when I talk about motivation, like some people might say, well, I don't want to deal with the hassle of selling it. Well, keep in mind that even if you publish a free pattern, you're kind of, I feel like there's a social contract that you're responsible for providing support for that. So just keep in mind, if you release a free pattern, you know, like people may ask you questions, and, you know, I feel like you need to be willing to sign on for that.
That's the thing. Cost and such. You've said that in the past that like if you make something and it's generic and everyone wants to make it, if you go for the G-pop, like you have to deal with the G-pop folks. So it's like you said before, you're like, I'm kind of glad that I have, you know, lacy, more difficult things, more niche things.
I don't know that they're that difficult.
I think they're difficult. So they're not difficult, but they're more complex than a beginner knitter would. dive into. So you're not usually answering emails saying like, what is a like 4x4 rib or whatever.
How do you cable?
Exactly.
This cable
That's what I was trying to say.
right?
I couldn't even say it.
Yeah. So I have heard from designers before. Some say like I don't know that I'll ever do a free pattern again. Because when something is free, the knitter may not self-select, right? Like it's free, so I want to make it even though maybe my skill set is not there yet. And so you as the designer may be doing a little more hand holding.
Right.
And that can happen for a paid pattern too that goes viral, is that it's cool and everyone wants to make it. And so the knitter like may not quite be ready yet. And I don't want to discourage anyone from doing something outside their ability. Like, you know, go for it. But that may like, you know, because sometimes if something is out of your range, you're like, oh, I'm not quite there yet, but it's on my list. I want to do it someday.
Yeah.
And so it's just something to
like
keep
that
in
one
mind.
I'm doing for my mother for Christmas. I feel like
You're
that is
totally doing it.
I am doing it. It's a lot, but it's happening.
Yeah. No, you're doing great. I love it. Yeah. So okay. Next, keep in mind that designing and pattern writing are two different skill sets.
Right.
And you need to develop and hone.
How do you feel about PDFs? How do you feel about formatting a PDF, folks?
You know what? I'll tell you this.
Yikes.
Like,
yikes.
I won't even tell you. Maybe I will tell you what program I use. Like, it is so archaic. I'm the only person on the planet who uses Microsoft Publisher for that.
I don't even know what that is.
Right? It works for me. I'm not super techie. I'd love to know like InDesign or something like that.
Well, and it's like you have your layout within that, right? Like you have your format already.
I have my format. I feel like I do decent work with that.
It's gorgeous, folks.
But
have you ever seen a printed out Katy Carroll pattern?
Thank you.
They're gorgeous. The whole shop, I mean, they're beautiful patterns.
Yeah, thank you.
But there are some that are so ugly, or they don't have any photos, or they don't
have good photos,
or their text blocks are weird, or you know, like there's so many things that go into actually a good pattern writing. There's a popular pattern. I'm not going to say which one it is. But I had a really hard time with the way that she was formatting it because she was giving a written instruction of like an overview almost, and then repeating it in a different. And so it was really confusing because I'd be like, I'm doing this, and then I would do it, and then I would get to the next step, and it would say, so do this, and then I was like, but I just did that. So like it's stuff like that where it's like. Yeah. Your patterns are always like dun 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 dun. Well, and here's a chart. Like it's very boop 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 boop.
How would I want this to be given to me?
Exactly.
And that kind of makes it hard when I knit somebody else's patterns because like I'm like I don't want that.
Some of them I really don't.
And that's just because I'm used to my style because I'm making my style.
I like Alicia Plummer's.
And when I design, like y'all have to get my gauge, right? Like
sometimes it's like even like I don't like the font.
Yeah.
You know? Like,
and that's kind of style over substance, right? Where like might look pretty and have a pretty font, but it's a pain to read.
Yeah.
You know, and that
or it's too small.
Yeah. So
that's Microsoft, you heard it, folks. Microsoft
Publisher.
Publisher. I've never heard of.
But in designing, the voice that I always hear in my head is Tim Gunn from the OG Project Runway.
This is in my brain now too. You've ruined me. That's
Tim Gunn, if you recall, would often say to designers, "This doesn't feel resolved." And to me, when a design is unresolved, it means things are just kind of thrown on random, slapdash. It doesn't make sense.
Right.
And for me, I like my designs to be resolved. And that means like the ribbing flows smoothly, seamlessly, effortlessly into the design.
Right.
Things aren't just like randomly smacked on without purpose.
Right.
And I like that.
Well, it comes into my brain a lot because you said it to me when I'm doing those Sayori weavings because I've got 6 inches of it in front of me on the loom, and I'll be into whatever I'm doing, and then I'll look at it and I'll be like, okay, I want to move on, and then I'll be like, well, I can't just move on. So then I have to think a little bit, and then I think exactly. Katy comes into my head. Katy Katy doing an impression of Tim Gunn comes into my mind, and I hear whatever, and I figure out how to resolve it within that, like, weaving is weird because you can only see 8 inches at a time. So if you look at that thing, I feel like within, a foot of each thing it should go, but it doesn't always go with the first thing I did. But that was resolved way at the beginning.
But then
So
maybe,
but then if it resolves there, then it like I
cool.
loved weaving.
Yeah.
Like, you got goosebumps.
I did. No, because I would say, like, the scarf that you showed, right? It's random, but it has purpose.
Exactly.
Like, it's organized chaos.
Right.
That's so cool.
And that's the problem with it, though, is I have to be in a creative mood. And, like, everything has to be going right. There's, like, a wind that comes in. There are leaves that drop. There's, the room is clean. The fountain is on. The plants are good. And then I can sit and I can do it. But if I try and force it, like, I had to kind of force the last, like, foot of that because I needed to move on to something else. It was difficult to not just, like, whatever.
Yeah.
Like, it's a hard one.
Creativity on demand is hard.
It's impossible.
And that's why if I'm doing a collaboration with a yarn dyer and they've given me yarn and I in turn I'm going to make a pattern, I always say, like, what's your deadline? Give me a deadline. I need a deadline. I need to have this. I need a show. I need something, a kit, like something to do this for, because that lights a fire under my butt. And then
it keeps
and then I'm accountable. And we could talk a little bit about, like, reputation, right?
Yeah.
Because more often than not, I'm given yarn by lovely yarn people, and the expectation is on me that I then produce a design and we co-promote each other.
Right.
Cross-promote each other. A lot of dyers have been burned by people who accept yarn and never use it.
And then they never...
Don't be that person.
I can't imagine doing that. And that's, I would never... I won't even make a sample for the shop because it's too stressful to me.
Yeah.
Like, there's no way.
Right?
There's no way. They're like, take that home and make a washcloth on
your
loom. I'm like, not for free. You're not handing me nothing.
And sometimes yarn dyers are so nice, and they're like, whenever you get to it. I'm like, no, don't tell me that. Like, I need a deadline. But anyways, going on to pattern writing.
Yeah.
Because that's the second skill. We covered designing, pattern writing. The best advice I ever heard was actually from this friend, the lovely Carroll Greenwood, who is an amazing designer, and more so, she is an amazing businesswoman. Like, she's got it locked down. She has the highest standard of professionalism.
She does.
She does. And she, before I was even designing, she spoke for our Salt Lake Knitting Guild. And she said when she was just starting out and she was starting to dye and sell her yarn and fiber, her mantra was, begin as you mean to go on. Right?
Say that one more time.
Begin as you mean to go on.
Oh, okay.
Right?
Yeah.
So start out with your most polished effort.
Right.
And you know what? You're still going to go back. You're still going to update it because you're still learning. But start with the most polished professional effort you can make. And that's even if it's a free pattern.
Yeah.
Right? Because people can leave comments. People can share experiences. And you want what's out there for your word to be the best it can.
Forum full of people who,
Yeah. So begin as you mean to go on. So, like, invest in tools that you need to do a good job. So I use a pattern charting software called Stitch Mastery.
I've heard of this.
Designed by a crafter in Scotland. It's amazing. That's how I make my charts. And I am not a cast on and see where the yarn takes me person.
No.
You're
not Stephen Loss.
I know. My brain doesn't work like that, and I don't like ripping out. Right. I don't like putting strain on the yarn. So if I chart out first, you can eliminate a lot of pitfalls. You can see where things are not resolved.
And if you have that experience, that's amazing to, like, be able to be like, okay, here's my little grid.
Yeah.
I'm gonna put in my little dots and lines on this grid, and I know what that means in my head, and I can line that up with a yarn downstairs in the basement.
Yeah, and then
I can pair that with a deadline, and
right, and I can see if like, oh hey, one motif takes up like 27 stitches, and a cowl is usually like 100 plus stitches around. Then okay, I'm going to repeat that 4 times, and that's going to give me the standard width of a cowl, and I can see that if I chart it out first. So get your tools, charting software if you need that. Stitch dictionaries. I love stitch dictionaries.
I used to have a stitch dictionary.
I have this fantasy where I'm in some remote bookshop and I stumble across a stitch dictionary that no other designer has. And that's why like stitch dictionaries, they're public information, right? So if you see repeated motifs, cables, whatever, among designers, we're working from the same materials. We're not copying each other. Right. It's from
You've said before that like you can look at somebody's stuff and be like, oh, they have this.
I can actually. I have a pretty good visual memory. I can look at a designer's catalog of work and like pinpoint 3 or 4 books that I'm pretty sure they own. Because some motifs are only in certain books.
Yeah.
I know when you're starting out, I talk about getting your tools, and I know that there are financial considerations. Right. You can still, like, if you have a friend who takes good iPhone photos, do iPhone photos until you're able to get something better. I've never had a professional photographer. Like my daughter was like 15 and enlisted when we started, and my sister helped me too, and we just got better.
Do what you can.
Yeah, do what you can. Tech editing is a great thing that might be restrictive in the beginning. Run your work by some friends then, because here's the thing, you will not catch your own mistakes. Your brain completely looks over them. It's like writing a term paper, right?
Yes.
You do not see your mistakes. So if you're not able to afford a tech editor at this point, enlist a couple friends.
Yeah. And make friends who are doing this.
Yes, skill swap.
Right?
I'll look at yours, you look at mine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, just make some friends.
Yeah.
Your knitting group would want to test a pattern. There's someone who knits fast enough that you could do a test knit with every group.
Yeah, like I'm not very active in it right now, but I have my own forum for Katinka designs.
I just saw that
on Ravelry.
Very
but I have a list I've developed of people who've tested for me in the past, and that's actually been really fun because I've made friendships with knitters in Germany, in the UK, like all throughout the US, who test it for me. You will see out there are some debates on if test knitting is ethical or people being properly compensated.
That's
my feeling. My feeling was when I test knit, I enjoyed the process. I liked what I got out of it.
Yeah.
And I did get like a free copy of that pattern and then usually a free other pattern. And for me, I feel like I wasn't taken advantage of because I knew what I was signing up for.
Yeah.
And so I do still try to treat my test knitters well. They get a free copy of the finished pattern, and I give them codes or 2 other free patterns that they want. And I want to make it a good experience for them. I never dictate what yarn they use.
Right.
But I ask, can you run up by me? And if something is just not ideal, I will just say, no, this is great. These are kind of the qualities of the yarn to use, but I'm never going to tell you what to use. So treat your test knitters well. But test knitting and tech knitting or tech editing,
not the same thing.
Not the same thing. You'll have some. Well, I feel test knitting gives you an idea of knittability.
Yes.
Like, is it an easy process? Is it actually fun to make? Right. Yes. And you'll have some test knitters, and all the feedback they'll give you is like, "Yeah, liked it, cool, good job,
great."
And that's it. And that's
I got my pattern.
Yay! I
got my coats.
And then I've had other test knitters who will give me like 3 pages of detailed notes. And that's kind of awesome too.
Yeah.
But a tech editor, like their job, they're being paid to go through the entire pattern, not just their size, like the entire thing. I've been using my tech editor for like like multiple years, and her name is Lisa Beth. I believe it's Houchins of Meanest Mommy Knits. And Lisa, if you're watching this, you're amazing. Right? Between the two of us, between my efforts,
editing podcasts.
Oh, yeah. No, she's so good. Because I'm very right brained, she's very left brained. Right. And between my efforts and then her final polish, we catch almost everything. And like I can truly say that I can count on one hand the number of help requests that I get in a year.
Amazing. Like
not a week or a month, but like a year. And I can see on Ravelry that people are making the things.
Oh yeah.
So
there's projects, folks.
That's awesome for me. It is worth the money for me to pay for Lisa's time and expertise because I'm not waking up in the morning to emails. I would hate that, right?
You don't want...
Also, like, get testers of different abilities, right? Because sometimes really expert knitters, their brain fixes the mistake in their head, whereas someone who is a little more dependent on the pattern will call out things that the experienced knitters glance over, right?
Yeah.
So be open to all kinds of things, and then also, treat your testers well, but also expect like basic communication and accountability from them.
Right.
Because I remember times when someone would join a test, I'd send out the pattern, and then they ghosted.
Right.
And then they would join a second test, and I'm too nice, so I would give them a second pattern, and then they would ghost again. Yeah. And one knitter, it was on her third time when she applied. And so funny, but at the time, this was a big deal for me. I messaged her and said, as you've gotten 2 other free patterns that you didn't complete in the test, I'm not going to accept you for this.
Right.
And she said, oh, really? Like, yeah, you did twice.
That's not,
so
that's, no. What was Carol Greenwood's quote?
Begin as you mean to go on.
So that girl was not doing that.
Yeah. So anyways, that is like my brief overview of if you want to design a pattern, like where to start, what to do, right?
And if people have questions, can they send you a DM?
I can. Yeah. So I'm on Instagram at Katinka Designs. People like to say Katinka.
That's what I say.
I don't care. Like it's Katinka. It's kind of like a Russian form of Katy, right? Like Katya, Katinka. Katinka Designs.
Katinka.
And I'm Katinka on Ravelry. And my pattern store is under Katy H. Carroll, Katy with a Y. And anyways, like
it's all on Ravelry.
On Ravelry. And now we have hard copy patterns at Petitfours and Purls.
We do.
Not all of them though.
But
a nice sampling.
And they're really beautiful. I think that this is very valuable information that you have.
Thank you.
And it makes it so that someone could, step outside of their lifestyle.
Do the thing.
And do something creative.
Publish
right?
The pattern,
like do something creative.
And honestly, like if anyone is starting out and you have questions, I'm happy to talk with you. People talk with me. They shared their information and like I'm happy to put it forward. So
that's amazing. Sweet. Well, follow me. Get on to the gift along.
Indie design.
We'll see you in the forums. This is a challenge to all of you. Let's try and be in the forums. And follow us. Leave a comment. Like. Subscribe. And I'll see you next month. It'll be Christmas. It'll be the Christmas special. I can already hear the jingle bells. I don't know yet. We'll figure it out. Doing something creative.
Yay. All right.
Okay.
Thank you, Adam.
Goodbye. Oh, thank you, Katy. It's only me.
Yeah.
No.